Hey YouTube, it's Alexi Giovani here and welcome back for another Animal Crossing related video. Today I'm going to share with you not just 10, but 11 secrets or usually unknown aspects of Animal Crossing New Horizons. So without holding you up any longer, let's get straight into them. Number 1. There's no doubt that you've noticed some birds loitering in the town square above the bulletin board. You might have even tried to creep up on them and try to catch them. But did you know though, that there's an actual reason that they're there? Well, it wasn't until I started playing Animal Crossing New Leaf recently that revealed the reason. It's effectively a count of number of unread messages you have off the bulletin board. So you get one bird per unread message that you've got, up to a max of 4 birds for 4 or more messages. So once you read them, the birds will sadly disappear, but don't worry, they'll come back as soon as you have a new message. Even cooler still is that you might have also noticed the owls, and they're there for the same equivalent reason, and they're usually available from after 6 PM. Number 2. If you don't already know, you can eat the fruits of your island, whether it's the native fruit or the more exotic fruits including coconuts, and also including some of the treats that you get from Red during the August fireworks. You can eat up to 10 fruits, which is usually more than enough. Doing this gives you the power to dig up trees to relocate them, or even smash rocks on your island. That includes getting that one last stone from rocks on mystery flights. Well, did you know that you can poop out the excess fruit? I keep a toilet there right next to my rock garden to ensure that we're free of any extra power or energy. I just need to remind my son who recently smashed one of my rocks, but that might make for a good future video. Number 3. There are 2 shops in Animal Crossing New Horizons. One is Nook's Cranny with Tim and Tommy, and the other is Able Sisters at the clothing store. This is run by the 2 sisters Mabel and Sable, and the latter being the overly busy and generally grumpy one of the 2, aside from the 3rd sister LaBelle, who's the designer. But a fun fact, in Animal Crossing New Leaf, LaBelle, or is it Label, serviced the boutique section of the Able Sisters before she hit the big time in New Horizons. Every day that you talk to Sable, her rough exterior is slowly broken down. She starts to get to know your name, and then she has more and more of a conversation and gives you a brief history lesson of the family. After about 8 days of your persistence, she warms up to you and gives you some patterns, and these patterns can be used when it comes to customization. She'll continue to give you new patterns up to a maximum of 10 days where she'll max it out and won't give you any more. And here's a little sneak peek of all the patterns that you could possibly get when you finally become friends with Sable. Number 4. In previous guides, I would have mentioned that you can't grow flowers on the beach. Now, flowers are stunted and will not progress through their stages nor breed on the beach. But so you'll see that despite pulling up an established weed that's been replanted, the life cycle of the weed starts again. However, flowers will just stay as they were. Weeds, being so hardy, actually continue to grow on the beach. And you'll see that despite a day passing of the flowers, they've stayed as they were. I didn't leave it long enough to see if they would keep making more of what was planted, so let me know if you've had these continue to grow on your island. Number 5. Our cousin Red doesn't visit all that often, so you don't want to miss any opportunity of him being there. If you do have your minimap on screen, you can quickly glance for his icon. Don't forget to check the full-blown map if you tend to go minimal. Of course, Red is that little bit shady, so he will occasionally, if you're not careful, sell you fake pieces of art, whether it's sculptures or paintings. But don't worry, if you have been sold at and you do get confused as to which is which, you can use this option within Blather's museum, in which you provide the art piece to him and he'll tell you whether it's real or not. In this case, this is what the dialogue looks like when it's a fake version, but if I provide him a piece of art, in this case this amazing painting, which is real, he does actually just confirm that it is the real deal. Now there is another way that you can do this, so let's head over to Nook's Cranny and I'll show you that. And you can try to sell that art to either Tommy or Timmy, in which case he tells you pretty much up front whether it's a real thing or not. Check out this, there's no fuss around this. And I love that he tries to back out of it as well. So let's just start again. Never happened. Number 6. Next up are Nook Mile rewards. You'd already know by now that the little red dot indicates that you haven't read or redeemed points that you've earned. But did you know that you can use that right stick to go right to the one that hasn't been claimed yet? This is particularly useful for lazy people like me that want to just jump to the action. Have you noticed the subtle difference when it comes to that notification at the top left there? There is a difference between a regular Nook Miles reward versus a Nooks Plus reward. So again, you can use that right stick to go straight to the action. But let's trigger something that will create a Nook Miles Plus award. In this case, speaking to my villager here, Apollo, has triggered a Nook Miles Plus. And see that difference? What I like about that is it just prepares me that little bit from an emotional point of view when it comes to an achievement. But the daily Nook Mile Plus rewards is a great way to bump up your Nook Mile points. Numero 7. Now, I don't know about you, but I often confuse my villager houses, especially when they look a little bit the same. But did you know that you can give them a wreath so that they can put it on their door so that you can distinguish that little bit easier whose house is who? Players tend to put items in the gardens that represent the villager living there, but once they move out, if it's on their door, it just goes with them. So it also inspires you to get those DIYs so that you can make these wreaths. In this case, I'm giving Dom here a wreath that I think represents him, and you can see how excited he is. It's a snazzy pansy wreath. He'll gratefully accept this and pop it onto his door the very next day. Now, isn't that snazzy? We're already up to number 8. I recently did a video on the perfect snowman, and this little gem was discovered when my family members' characters spoke to the perfect snowman just after they were born. On that very day that the snow boy is made, and only if they're perfect, they will offer a frozen DIY to whomever speaks to them from your island. And since only one snow boy can be made per day, this makes sense so that everyone can reap the reward. I haven't tested this yet as a visitor to an island, so please let me know in the comments if you have and whether or not it does work. Winter has recently just finished for us, at least in the southern hemisphere, so I'm sure it'll be soon enough that you'll be needing to make these snow boys soon. So do check out my other video of how to get those perfect snow boys for you to increase your number of frozen recipes. Number 9. Wait, what? DIYs in the recycle box? How did they get in there? Let's rewind for a sec. Now, I have been playing this game for the past 15 or so months, and I only recently stumbled across this. Do you already know about this? If you do or don't, please comment below. This is how you perform this sorcery. Just place a table, ideally a 2x2 square table, which allows you to put 4 DIY on there. It even works with things like fish, tools, bells, or Nook Mile tickets. And it's a great way to store things off the floor and share those with others on your island without even messing with your island star rating. Prior to knowing this, I'd resorted to creating a fake account on my island just to get the DIY off the floor. And, just like that, everything is tucked away in the recycle box. Note that there is an 80 item limit in your recycle box. You're welcome! Ooh, number 10. DIY recipes are taught to you by the villagers in bottles on the beach as well as from balloons. But did you know though that each personality type of the villager give you from the same pool of recipes? They also have a common generic pool. Check the linked video for a detailed explanation of how this works. If you are lucky enough to have any amiibo cards from the New Horizons series, you can invite them to your campsite and they will ask to take home a souvenir, and if you don't already have that particular recipe, they'll actually give it to you. So this is a good opportunity for you to farm these recipes, create a separate account, or just borrow one of your families to get that DIY recipe. Just remember not to craft that item, or if you do, try to keep it within the limit of 3, because once you get to that particular point, that's where they'll ask you to come and visit or move into your island. So you don't necessarily either have to be the person that invited the amiibo villager. However, you do have to be the first person to commit to accepting the souvenir challenge for that particular day. Here I have an appropriately named Kennard, who is inspired by Kennard's storage, to house a lot of these DIYs and extra stuff that I just can't fit in my regular household. Now on to our last one, or is it? Number 11. There are several places that you can craft your DIYs, including the town hall just near Tom Nook. But have you ever crafted side by side with anyone? What about with your favourite villager? Well, that's something you can do, which is kind of fun. You should try it out. I tried crafting the exact same recipe that was given to me by the crafting villager, but it didn't seem to make a difference to his reaction. He just seemed to be just as pleased. I'm going to give Raymond here a run for his money when it comes to crafting. Let's see who does it first. Oh, and one more thing. As I finished the video capture for the tips for patterns from Sable, I accidentally reached into my Toy Day stockings to find this. It's a photo of Jingle. I did not expect that. Now I just got to work on my own collection of the villager photos. And if you have forgotten or just don't know who Jingle is, it's this dude. Well, that's it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please hit that like button and do consider subscribing. Hit that bell icon too, so that you can be notified when I upload new videos. Let me know in the comments which of these you already knew and which of these that you learnt something from. Is there something you'd like me to do a video on? Leave me a comment. Well, this is Alexi Giovani signing off, and until next time, see ya!